Hello everybody, welcome back to another Elevate Her YouTube video. This is Iman, Youth Ambassador of the Elevate Her UK branch, and today I will be talking about hot topics in the media and prevalent discussions on socials. So today I will be talking about Tawana TR's Young Mum podcast, in which she interviews young mums across the UK, mainly in London, about their experiences as a young mum. And specifically, I will be talking about the episode with AngolanCvndy. Now, AngolanCvndy is an influencer and a social media presence. Alongside being a young mum, AngolanCvndy has sickle cell. Now, for those of you that do not know what sickle cell is a blood disease that affects the shape of blood cells and the way in which they are structured. And with this, less oxygen is carried to muscles and causes immense pain. So on the podcast, she tells a story about neglect. So essentially, she went to the hospital after having an episode and asked a nurse, when will I be examined? And the nurse said, and I quote, "We do not do meaningless examinations." Now, luckily for AngolanCvndy, she was on live at the time, so a big group of people actually saw and heard the interaction online and reported the nurse, and she got into trouble, obviously, which was good. Now, the reason AngolanCvndy felt so hurt by this conversation and the way in which the nurse spoke to her is because she had actually lost her friend to neglect like this, and she was not going to fall victim as well. So it brought up some painful memories in the way in which she was spoken to. Now, this is prevalent with sickle cell patients, and no coincidence, sickle cell patients are mostly of African and Caribbean descent, therefore Black. Now, in healthcare, Black women are the least looked after minority group out of every minority group in the world. Meaning they are the biggest percentage of people that die from neglects in medical history. Actually, we lose our women to childbirth, to cancer, and sickle cell. Now, this neglect has costed many lives, as I said before, and the way in which we could help this is having more people study sickle cell, because a white man's not gonna do it for you, essentially, because they may never know what sickle cell is like. Sickle cell does not affect many people outside of the Black minority group. You're not going to see a white man with sickle cell 9 times out of 10, maybe even more than 9.9. Like, we do not have enough studies done on it because there are not enough Black people in the medical field. And if we did study it more, we'd understand these patients and give them the treatment that they needed and reduce the death toll of patients with sickle cell. Not only this, but it also serves as a lesson to check who we have children with. Black people, especially West Africans, should be checking their genotype and see whether they are ASAA. Like, if they have the allele, they should see if their partner has it too. This is a conversation that we must be having so that we can avoid more people having sickle cell. It is a recessive allele, don't, yeah, fine. But if when you have two recessive allele, there is a 25% chance that you might have a child with sickle cell, and they will be a sufferer. And this is something that every parent wants to avoid. Another example is my friend who their attendance and how often they go to school, which shows that actually sickle cell is beyond our health and affects our lives, in the fact that there are things that they may not be able to do because they are in hospital constantly and need urgent care. And even for those that are not getting this urgent care, they may very well die because due to neglect. And AngolanCvndy actually expresses the fact that this is all based off of racism, and the fact that black sufferers, especially black women, are disregarded by the medical field, meaning like doctors and nurses, because they are seen as as if they are exaggerating their symptoms and are overreacting to their pain and suffering. Not only this, but we need to raise more awareness around sickle cell. Sickle cell has been around for probably centuries, and it's only recently that's actually being brought to light. And the idea of the neglect of ethnic minorities is only in the medical field is only now becoming a contemporary issue. Contemporary issues are like things that have happened in the last 30 years. So probably before 1990, this was not actually like spoken on, and we need to raise more awareness. Yes, it is coming to light. That does not mean that we are all aware of it. People outside of this ethnic minority need to know, and it needs to be studied more. We need more studies. We do not have many statistics on sickle cell. And AngolanCvndy also compares sickle cell patients to cancer patients in the fact that actually, because you cannot see symptoms as well as you can for cancer, these people do not see the same benefits. There are funds for cancer. We have charities. There's barely any for sickle cell, and if they are not prevalent. You don't fund them in schools. Red Nose Day, you don't have that for sickle cell, because essentially because of racism, because of the fact that we do not see ethnic minorities and they are not treated like their white counterparts. You see cancer patients getting cars, houses, loans. You don't see that for sickle cell patients. Some of them can't even get a carer for their children, and that needs to change. That we need to see change in that, and we need to know that actually this is not right. Just because you cannot see illness does not mean that it's not there. And the reason that people do think that it's not there is because these patients are mostly black. The majority, probably above 90% of sickle cell patients are black. And because of the colour of their skin, they are neglected and left to die by doctors and nurses. And this needs to change. And it starts with awareness. Everything starts with awareness. And AngolanCvndy's story has actually allowed many people to come out and share their own experiences of neglect and of sickle cell in general, and the fact that actually this disease affects many lives, more than we could even imagine. And we need to see the fact that actually the reason it's not been researched is because the majority of patients are black, and that needs to change. So the same way we protested against police brutality and the effects of racism in the police force and the institutional racism of the police force. We need to see that in the medical field as well. There are not many Black people in this field, literally because of racism that has been prevalent for years. For example, a historical take is Mary Sickle. She was denied by, when she came to the UK all those years ago during the Crimean War, around the same time as Florence Nightingale, she was turned down by a hospital. She was not allowed to work there. Why? Because she was Black. And you see, the fact that I'm talking about things that have happened 200 years ago that are still prevalent now, there are still Black women turned down from these jobs because they are Black. They are not made, even as nurses, even as practitioners, they are not made a priority on the job lists or anything like this. So the medical field needs to see that actually you shouldn't see a patient for the color of their skin, rather their condition, and observe them correctly. Do not deny a person treatment because of the stereotypes you may have of them. It's not right and it's not just. So therefore, what I'm asking us as a population to do is raise awareness, get checked for your genotypes, study this more. Even people that are not doing a medical degree, please go and look it up and raise awareness, post about it on social media, use tags. Like, we need to know, people need to know about this. And finally, remember these stories and be careful of who you have children with, so that you do not produce more sufferers. And also know whether you are a sufferer or a carrier. Not everybody, some people find out a bit too late. But anyways, thank you for listening. All of our social media platforms are in the description below, I'm pretty sure. Raise awareness, check your genotypes, and have a blessed day. Goodbye.